wasn't alone, even though the house was empty. That night, I made a mistake that still haunts me. I looked out the window, and whatever was standing there, it smiled. Act 1. The setup. It was supposed to be a normal Friday evening. The kind where you order pizza, binge-watch something forgettable, and fall asleep on the couch without a care in the world. I had just moved into this house 3 months ago. A small, quiet neighborhood, the kind where nothing ever happens. That's what the realtor told me. That's what I believed. The heater hummed in the background, filling the living room with warmth. Outside, the winter wind whispered through the bare trees, but inside I felt safe, protected. The lamp cast a soft golden glow across the room, and for a moment, everything felt right. I was scrolling through my phone, half watching a show I'd already forgotten the name of, when I heard it. Knock on knock. 3 slow, deliberate taps on the living room window. I froze. My first thought was a tree branch. Maybe a bird. Maybe the wind had pushed something against the glass. But deep down, even before I looked, I knew. Those knocks were too deliberate, too patient. Like someone was waiting for me to respond. I didn't move, didn't breathe. The warmth in the room suddenly felt suffocating, like the air itself had grown thick with tension. Then it came again. Knock on knock. Slower this time, almost mocking. Act 2. The reveal. My heart started pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. Every logical part of my brain screamed that it was nothing. A prank, a neighbor, maybe even my imagination. But something deeper, something primal told me otherwise. I set my phone down carefully, as if any sudden movement might trigger whatever was outside. My eyes stayed fixed on the floor, avoiding the window like it was a void I wasn't ready to face. But I couldn't resist. Slowly, against every instinct screaming at me to run, I lifted my gaze toward the glass. And there it was. A figure. Tall. Unnaturally still. Standing just beyond the window, half hidden in the darkness outside. It wasn't moving. It wasn't doing anything. It was just there. Watching. Waiting. I couldn't see its face. Just the outline of a body, tall and broad-shouldered, standing perfectly motionless like a statue carved from shadow. I couldn't see its face. Just the outline of a body, tall and broad-shouldered, standing perfectly motionless like a statue carved from shadow. My breath caught in my throat. A small choking sound escaped me before I could stop it. The figure didn't react. It just stood there, watching. Act 2.5, the escalation. I don't know how long I sat there paralyzed. Seconds felt like hours. The silence in the room had become unbearable. The kind of silence that presses against your skull, making you hyper-aware of every tiny sound. The hum of the heater, the ticking of the clock, the blood rushing through my veins. And then, a new sound. Not a knock this time. A scrape. Slow. Deliberate. Like fingernails or something worse dragging across the glass. Grape. My stomach dropped. I pressed my hand over my mouth to stop the scream building in my chest. I pressed my hand over my mouth to stop the scream building in my chest. The figure hadn't moved, but now I could sense something different about it. Something had shifted. It knew I was watching, and it wanted me to know. It was enjoying this. I forced myself to move. Slowly, carefully. Every inch felt like a mile as I backed toward the hallway. The floor creaked under my weight, and I winced, certain the sound had been too loud. But the figure outside didn't move. Didn't need to, because that's when I realized something that made my blood run cold. It was coming from the bedroom. Act 3, the chase. I spun around, my heart nearly exploding in my chest. The hallway stretched before me, dark and endless. The lamp's light barely reached past the living room, leaving the rest of the house shrouded in shadow. And at the end of the hall, my bedroom door stood slightly open. I hadn't left it open. I never leave it open. My mind raced through possibilities, none of them good. Had it come inside? Had it been inside this whole time? The thought made my skin crawl, like 1,000 invisible insects skittering across my body. I grabbed my phone and pressed myself against the wall, trying to control my breathing. Every exhale felt too loud, every heartbeat a betrayal. I needed to get out. Now, the front door was too close to the living room window, it would see me. The back door through the kitchen was my only option. I moved. Step by step, crouching low, I crept toward the kitchen. The floor groaned beneath me, and I cursed this old house and its ancient bones. Every shadow seemed to move, every creak a potential threat. I was halfway across the kitchen when I heard it. Tap tap. Coming from the kitchen window. I looked up, and there it was. Right there. Inches away from the glass. But this time I could see its face. Or rather, where its face should have been. It was blank. Smooth. Like someone had taken a person and simply erased their features. No eyes. No nose. No mouth. Just an empty, pale surface where humanity should have existed. And yet, somehow impossibly, it was smiling. I could feel it. Not see it. Feel it. I could feel it. Not see it. Feel it. I screamed. Act 4. The twist. I ran. I didn't think. Didn't plan. Just ran. The back door was locked. Of course it was locked. My trembling fingers fumbled with the deadbolt as the tapping behind me grew louder, more insistent. Tap. 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 The sound was everywhere now. Every window. Every door. Surrounding me. Closing in. I finally got the door open and burst into the cold night air. The frost hit my lungs like needles, but I didn't stop. Couldn't stop. I ran across the backyard, my bare feet burning against the frozen grass. I didn't know where I was going. I just needed to get away. I made it to the neighbor's house and pounded on their door, screaming for help. Lights turned on. Faces appeared at windows. Someone called the police. When the cops arrived, they searched my house. Every room, every closet, every corner. Nothing. No figure. No signs of forced entry. No footprints in the frost outside my window. They told me it was probably stress. Maybe I'd imagined it. Maybe it was a shadow, a trick of the light. I let them believe it. I didn't have the energy to argue. But I know what I saw. But I know what I saw. And I know what I felt. That was 3 weeks ago. I've since moved to a new apartment in the city. 4th floor. No trees. No bushes. Nothing that could cast shadows near my windows. I thought I was safe. Until last night. I was making dinner when I heard it. Knock on knock. Coming from my apartment door. I looked through the peephole. The hallway was empty. But on the floor just outside my door was a single piece of paper. Picked it up. For words. Handwritten. Scrawled in something dark and red. I found you again. I haven't slept since. And every time I close my eyes I can feel it. Watching. Waiting.